Hi there! Today I'm jumping online real fast to answer some questions for the Little Arrow book box. I'm really excited to be joining you this month. I am Carla Mae Jansen, and this is my book that you're getting, A Dinosaur Made Me Sneeze. I'm also the author of A Dinosaur Made Me Spill, and that one was just released a couple months ago. So I'm going to jump right into the questions, and I'll just answer them for you. If you have any questions I didn't get to, you're welcome to email me and I'll answer more. So the first question was, have you always liked writing, and what do you love about writing books? Yes, I've always liked writing. Since I was young, I've always enjoyed coming up with stories and telling stories. I think what I enjoy the most is that when I write something, I can create something new that's never been here before, and it kind of feels like a superpower. So the second question was, what helps you be creative when writing stories? That is definitely going to be my kids. I have 5 kids. They are amazing, and they're super creative, and one of them is joining me real fast, it looks like. Their imaginations spark more creativity than definitely anything else. Let's see, the next question was, how long did it take you to write the book? So this one that you're getting is kind of unusual. It took about 15 years. And the reason for that is because I started working on it when I was teaching junior high, and I just didn't have time to come back and finish it for a very long time. So about once a year I would pull out the story and work on it, make some edits and change things up. And I didn't really start working on it and focusing on it until 2020. And once I started focusing on it, it took about 1 year to finish. So the next question is, what is something that was hard about writing and publishing this book? Let's see. So, we're going to pause for a second. Sorry. Speaking of those 5 kids, we might get interrupted once or twice as we go through this. The hardest thing I think for publishing this book is that it was my first one, and so I had to learn everything about not just writing, but also the whole publishing industry. And there was a lot to learn. So there were a lot of things that I would do or not do, and then I would look back and be like, that wasn't the best use of my time, or I should have done it this way or that way. And, you know, sometimes it's hard to not feel discouraged when you're making mistakes as you go along, but I found that if I spin it and I consider it a learning experience or professional development, it's a lot easier to swallow. So as a former teacher, I would pay for professional development all the time. Every year we had to go and do different classes and things. And so sometimes when I have slightly more expensive learning experiences, I remind myself that that was a professional development experience, and look how much I'm going to save in the future by not making that same choice again. So there's always a different way of looking at things that is more helpful, and I try to see that. So the next question is, any advice for children wanting to do something that seems hard or scary? Yes, start. Absolutely, the first step is the hardest. And if you can't wrap your mind around the very first step, then it's probably not the first step. You probably need to break it down a little bit more. For example, writing a story is not the first step. Maybe coming up with a character, that might be the first step. Something smaller and easier to do is where you need to start. Take that very first step and then just see what happens after it. So the next question is, what is a tip that you can offer to kids to help them improve their writing skills? Write. Just start writing. Write something every single day. I feel like it's like practicing an instrument. So I like to play the piano, and I have 3 kids that are learning different instruments. And if you just put in those 20 minutes every day, you actually sit down and focus on it, you're going to get better. You might not feel like you're accomplishing much after 20 minutes. You'll get up and be like, I've done very little. But after a whole week, those 20 minutes add up to almost 2 hours. And after a whole month, those 20 minutes every day add up to 10 hours. After a year, well over 100, and after a couple years, you're into the thousands of hours. And at that point, you've grown so much, you can't really draw a line and be like, oh, here's where I learned everything, here's where I became good. It's a gradual change, and you just have to put in those few minutes every single day, or as often as you can. The next question I have is, what is one of your favorite quotes? So I have a lot. That's a hard question. I have a lot of favorite quotes. One of my favorites today is from Henry Ford. He said, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And I love that because if you don't think you can do something, you're not going to get it done. But if you think you can do something, you can find a way to do pretty much anything you can. The next question is, where do you live? And that's easy. I'm in Northern Virginia. It's really close to Washington, D.C. in the United States. Let's see. What is your favorite color, animal, and food? That one's tricky because it also changes every day for me. So today my favorite animal is the great white shark because I taught a class about great white sharks to a group of homeschoolers this morning, and I think they're awesome. My favorite color is probably red, but that also changes every single day.
My favorite is red.
Oh, my son's favorite color is red too. My favorite food right this moment is probably a chocolate cake because there's one sitting in my fridge waiting for me to come eat it, and I'm going to do that after I finish talking to you. So the last question is, do you have any other books you're currently working on? Yes, I do. I have one more book that's in this A Dinosaur Made Me series, and that's going to be at least a year down the road. But I also have some books for new readers and some nonfiction books for preschoolers, and even a series of novels that I'm working on. I like to try everything. I like to try lots of new things, and so I always have something I'm working on. Anyways, it's awesome to meet you. Hopefully some of you can say hi in the Facebook group. I joined the Little Author Facebook group, and I would love to hear from you in person. And happy reading.